kiddos, we're going to do some reviewing this week of factors and multiples, and we are also going to touch on prime numbers and composites. And we have covered all of that before, so this is not going to be anything very new to you, but we're going to go back and review it and make sure that you're totally comfortable with it. All right, so factors. Two factors are multiplied together to get a product. An example down here, if you were going to do that, 32 would be the product of the factors of 1 and 32. 1 multiplied by 32 equals 32. 2 multiplied by 16 equals 32. 4 multiplied by 8 also equals 32. So you would say that those are the factors of 32. And we've done those as factor fireworks before, kiddos, or some people call them factor trees. And I can show you an example of that a little bit later, just to remind you. Two ways to think about this. When can I multiply together factors to get my number or your product, right? The answer. So 1 multiplied by 32 is 32, like we said. 2 multiplied by 16 is 32, and 4 multiplied by 8 is also 32. So the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32 are factors of 32. What numbers can I divide evenly into my number? So you could think about that too. What numbers can you divide evenly into the product of 32? And that would give you your two factors, right, kiddos? So multiples are different. Don't get them confused. The product of a given number and another factor multiplied together. So 4 multiplied by 9 is 36. If we are going to find the multiples of 4, we would go through this process. Like 4 multiplied by 1 is 4, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, 4 multiplied by 4 is 16, 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, 4 multiplied by 6 is 24, 4 multiplied by 7 is 28, 4 multiplied by 8 is 32, and 4 multiplied by 9 is 36. So the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and so on, because you can keep multiplying that 4 by more things, right? Like 4 multiplied by 10, 4 multiplied by 11, 4 multiplied by 12. It keeps going on. It's any number that you can multiply by 4 is considered to be a multiple. Factors are different. They are smaller. There's a smaller amount of them because they are the only numbers that can go into whatever the number is that you're looking at. Like this one was 32. So it's only numbers that can evenly go into 32 are considered factors. All right, I'm going to show you another little thing here. So it says multiples are many, and we saw that, right? This can keep going and going and going because you can keep multiplying things by 4. You can like even multiply 4 multiplied by 36, right? They can keep going. They're bigger and bigger. Factors are in the facts. So what are some of the factors of 40? Well, 2 multiplied by 20 equals 40. 4 multiplied by 10 is 40. And 5 multiplied by 8 is 40. There are also some other factors, right, kiddos? Like 1 and 40. 1 multiplied by 40 is also a factor, right? Or even, those would be some of the other factors. So factors are few. There will not be as many factors. Like I said, they are only the numbers that can go into whichever number you're starting with and you're looking for the factors of. All right, so here's a way of thinking about it. Which word comes first in the alphabet, in the alphabetical order? Factor or multiple? Well, F comes before M, right, kiddos? So think of there are fewer, right? Because factors come first, so there's fewer of them, and multiples come later, so there are more of them after the given number, right? So they're saying here, F comes before M, factors come before multiples. Therefore, factors of the number come before the given number, and the multiples come after the given number. So if we were going to take the number 6, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6, right? 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. 2 multiplied by 3 is also 6. So those are the factors. Those are the numbers that can go into 6 evenly. And when you're doing the multiples, you're multiplying everything by 6. So 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. 6 multiplied by 4 is 24. 6 multiplied by 5 is 30. And we can keep going, right, kiddos? 6 multiplied by 6, 36. 6 multiplied by 7, 42. And it keeps going and going and going with the multiples. The same here with the number 12. I'll give you a minute to look at it. The factors are what can go into the number 12. The multiples are what you get by multiplying other numbers by 12, like this one, 12 multiplied by 1. They keep going up every time because you're multiplying everything by the 12. Factors are what make up the number. And multiples are what you get as you keep multiplying the number. All right, kiddos, so let's do a few examples together. It says for each problem, list all the factors, and then the first 5 multiples of the given number. Write the given number and list the factors in front of the number and the multiples behind the number. So we're going to look at the number of 5. All right. And if it'll let me right here, I will see if I can. Okay, kiddos? So we're going to have 1, oopsie, that's a bad comma, but 1 and 5 would be our factors, right? 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. We're not going to have any more factors than that, but our multiples of 5 would be different. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. Whoopsie, that got very big. Whoops. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. And 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. See how the multiples keep increasing, but the factors are only the numbers that can fit inside of that number. So it erased it, kiddos, but let's look at the next one, 10. If we were going to find the factors of 10, the factors of 10 are going to be 1, right? 2, 5, I know it's not perfect, and 10, right? Those would be the factors because 1 multiplied by 10 is 10, 2 multiplied by 5 is also 10. If we were going to find, and I'm just going to put an F there because those are the factors, right? If we are going to find the multiples of 10, well, that is different. We're going to multiply. Well, 10 multiplied by 1 is 10. 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. 10 multiplied by 3 is 30. 10 multiplied by 4 is 40. And 10 multiplied by 5 is 50. Do you see how they keep getting bigger? Because you're multiplying everything by that 10. Factors are the numbers that fit into the 10, and multiples are the numbers that you get when you're multiplying. Okay, kiddos? All right, oops. I'm going to shut the pen back off, and I do think that's going to make it it'll erase it, but that's okay because we're going to move down. All right, now here is like a factor rainbow, and we have done factor fireworks before too. You can think of it either way you want to. So if we were going to think of the factors of 18, well, we're going to start with 1 and 18, right? 1 and 18 would go on the outsides. Then the next number would be 2. Oopsie. No, it's not letting me draw. 2 and 9, right? Oh, bad 9, but 2 and 9. And then what else goes in there? Well, 3 and 6, right? So those would be considered the factors. 1, 2, 3, 9, and 18 are your factors for 18. And we had done it before where we did like a factor firework. We'd start it off like this, 18, and then we'd break it down. Well, 9 and 2, and then we'd figure what else this could go down into a factor firework, right? And this would be 3 and 3. So then we talked about how this made up that number, right? 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 is how we showed other ways of doing to figure out what were the numbers in ours. But if we're specifically looking for the factors, this is a really good way to think of it right here. Okay, kiddos? So we'll kind of disregard that part for now. Let's look at the next one. 28. Well, we would have 1 and 28, right? And then we have 2 and 14. Oop, okay, it's getting big for me. 2 and 14. And then the next one would be 3 and what? Yep, 3 and 9 is, wait. Yeah, 3 and 9. I'm having a problem today, I guess. No, it wouldn't be 3 and 9, would it? It would be 4 and 7, right, kiddos? Because 3 and 9 isn't 28, is it, kiddos? All right, so that's why this is really good, because it makes you think about things and it helps you see if something is wrong, right, kiddos? All right, so we're gonna go back. Oh, it didn't keep it that time. That's all right. All right, now we're going to look at multiples a little bit. So remember, multiples are when you are multiplying by a number. So the first one here, you're multiplying by these numbers, like 18. 1 multiplied by 18 is 18, right? 18 multiplied by 2 is 36, right? And then that's a bad 3, but it's 36. And then you would do like 3 multiplied by 18, right, kiddos? So you would have 3 multiplied by 18, and you're going to get, the next line here is going to be, let's see if it'll zoom for me. I want it to get bigger. It's not getting bigger. Is 54, right? Sorry that it's not very clear there for you guys. And the next one would be 4 multiplied by 18, right, kiddos? So then you'd get 72. I'm going to write on the other side since it's not getting bigger for me. And then you would have 18 multiplied by 5, which is 90. And that's a 0. And then, like your last one would be 18 multiplied by 6, which is 108. So they keep going up by 18 each time. Did you notice that? Because they're asking you for the multiples of 18. Now, here's another example. If we were going to be looking at, whoopsie. Sorry. If we're going to be looking at, like this one, 20 multiplied by those numbers. So the first one here is showing us that it's 20 multiplied by 1 is 20, and then it's 20 multiplied by 2, which is going to be 40, and then 20 multiplied by 3 is 60, right? 20 multiplied by, that's a bad 6, sorry. 20 multiplied by 4, 80. 20 multiplied by 5, 100, and then 20 multiplied by 6, 120. See how they went up by 20 each time. So just remember, multiples are like going up each time by the number, by whatever number this is. Like that one's 32, so you're going to go up by 32 each time, which is different than factors, right? Because factors are what make up the number that you're looking for, or the number that you're working with. All right. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about prime and composite numbers. Prime numbers only have one in itself as a factor. Composite numbers have more than two factors. Now remember, we talked about factors, kiddos, right? Factors are what make up the number you're working with. Multiples are what you get by multiplying by that number. So, a prime only has two factors, one in itself. So, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11 are primes. There are also quite a few more. 17 would be a prime, right, kiddos? Because only 1 and 17 can go into that number. But a composite is considered a number that has more than two factors, like the number 4. It has 1 and 4. It also has 2 multiplied by 2, right? So that already means it has more than one factor. The same goes with the number 6. 1 multiplied by 6, 2 multiplied by 3. Do you see? Though if it's a composite, it has more than two factors. If it is a prime, it only has the two factors. 0 and 1 are considered neither a prime nor a composite. So remember that rule. 0 and 1 are neither a prime nor a composite. All right. So if we were in class, I would give you a number and have you work with that, and write the factors for it and the multiples for it, the primes and the composites. But we're not in class, and I'm seeming to have a hard time with this writing on the board today, but let's just choose a number and see what happens here, right, kiddos? But I don't know if it's going to let me choose anymore because I keep hitting it and I don't see it coming up. So it's hiding from me somewhere, I guess. It'll be fine. Oh, there it is. Finally. All right. I'm betting you're wondering what I'm even talking about, but there's a little thing here that shows me that comes up when I can write with it, and it wasn't coming up, but now it is. So if we were going to use the number, I don't know, let's say, the number 12. We'll put 12 here. Now we're going to find the factors of 12. And we can do that by thinking of what goes into 12. You guys could do one of those rainbows, right? If we did a rainbow, 1 and 12, right? The next one would be 2 and 6. Okay? Are there any more? Well, yeah, there's another one, isn't there? 3 multiplied by 4 is also 12, right, kiddos? So that would mean our factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay, so those are the factors of 12. Now, if we're going to do multiples of 12, we would be multiplying by 12, by the number 12. So our first one would be 12, right? Because 1 multiplied by 12 is 12. Then we do, the next one would be 12 multiplied by 2 is 24. Bad 4, but there it is. Then we'd have 3 multiplied by 12 is 36. 4 multiplied by 12 is 48. And you see it just keeps going. The next one would be 5 multiplied by 12, which is 60, right, kiddos? So then you just keep moving it on and on and on in that way. Then we would look at the numbers here. And we would say, so which one of these are prime numbers? Well, 2 is a prime, right? Because only 1 and 2 can go into that number, so that one would be a prime. The next number we have, oopsie, the next number we would have here would be 3 for a prime number, right? Because only 1 and 3 can go into itself. Now 4 is not a prime, right, kiddos? Because you can have 1 multiplied by 4, and you can also have 2 multiplied by 2, so that is a composite number. It has more than 2 factors. The same goes with 6. 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. 2 multiplied by 3 is also 6, so that makes that a composite. It means it has more than 2 factors. And we already know that 12 would also be a composite because that is bigger. And all of these multiples here, right here, because this is the number 12, right? And this is 24 and 36 and 48 and 60. All of those are bigger numbers too, right, kiddos? All right. So I just wanted to go through that with you so you had a chance to see what that looked like. And I am assigning you some work this week. So you're going to look at the numbers in the recycle sign. And I chose recycling sheets this week because it's Earth Week. So you're going to look at the number in the recycling sign and color all of its multiples. So you're going to color everything that is a multiple of 3. Well, 3 multiplied by 3 would be 3. 3 multiplied by 2 is going to be 6. So I gave you one. You're going to color in that 6, right? And then down here, you're going to look at the number in the recycle sign and you're going to color all of its factors. Now remember, factors are the numbers that make up 24. So it's like the numbers that you can divide into 24 evenly, all right? And then you have one more sheet where you're going to color all of the prime numbers a certain color, and you're going to color all of the composite numbers another color. You're going to write in the color that you decided for each of those, okay, kiddos? And remember, prime numbers, only one in itself can go into it, and composite numbers, more than 2 factors, all right? Okay, kiddos, so that's all I have for you. I hope that it was easy to understand. If you're having any questions, just shoot me off a message on Seesaw or Remind, and I hope it's going well. Miss you guys.